And we'll have a chance for some questions. Okay, thank you.
All right, welcome everyone. Thanks for joining tonight. I'm going to share my screen and I'm going to show you a presentation. So just give me just a minute. Okay, can everybody see that okay? So I'm just going to give you an overview of the Fashion Design Certificate Program. And again, like Jackie said, at the end of this presentation, we'll leave some time for questions. So you can kind of just jot them down in the meantime. So just a little bit about Mass Art. Mass Art is an independent college of art and design. It's the only one in the country, and our fashion design program is one of the oldest fashion programs in the nation, and we were established in 1907 um, in fashion design. And we've been running courses in the continuing ed area as well as a full undergraduate program for a very long time. And we've had the certificate program now for over 20 years. So we're really proud of this program. And I'm going to kind of walk you through a little bit about the scope of it. So here's the overview. It's set up so that you can complete the program in 2 years and one summer, and you have a few different points that you can start. So you can start in the spring, you can start in the summer, and you can start in the fall. There are 10 courses in the program, uh, and there are 6 required core classes, and there are 3 studio elective courses, and then you have a final um, portfolio class that you complete as well. The courses are offered in fall, spring, and summer, and there is some sequence to them. And that if you want to complete the program in 2 years and one summer, it's based on taking 2 classes a semester and one summer class. It's a part-time program, and it is set up to be taught as an evening program so that we understand that you most likely have full-time jobs during the day. So this is why the program has been set up to be in the evening. So here are the required courses. On the left, Fashion Illustration, Global Heritage Fashion and Art, which is a global perspective on fashion history, pattern drafting, Intro to Creative Fashion, tailoring, couture design, and like I said, you end the program with a 2 credit professional portfolio class in your last spring. On the right-hand side of this page, you'll see some of the elective courses that we offer. Digital tools for fashion design, digital tools for textile design, sustainable fashion, costume design, millinery, handbag design, Clo 3D, entrepreneurship for creative business, and a pant making workshop. Some of these classes listed are offered through our undergrad program. We kind of can go back and forth with them. So there are some classes that we can also allow you once you're in the program. If we don't, that are listed on here, if they're not offered in the evening and part of our undergrad, if there's room in them, we can get you into those classes. But 3 electives are of choice. And depending on what your focus is or what you want to do after, I'm the advisor for the program, so I'll work with you to help you choose your elective choices as well. I think one of the biggest assets of the program is actually the creative community and the people that come into it. I've been teaching in the certificate program actually before we even started the program, and that's what's really unique about the program are the students and what each student brings into the program and the community that is fostered here. And for students who, once they graduate, what they do, how they stay connected with each other and how they stay connected to Mass Art and the current program is really great. So that I think is a standout in the program as well. Here's just some visuals to go along with the core classes. So some of them are sequential. So for example, pattern drafting is one of our core intro classes, as well as creative fashion. Those are, they don't require a prerequisite to take those classes, but in order to take tailoring, you'll need to have pattern drafting. And in order to take creative fashion, in order to take couture, you'll have to have taken creative fashion. So the ones on this page are our core curriculum that don't have any prerequisites, and that's pre-pattern drafting, creative fashion, and fashion illustration. And then again, here's tailoring and couture, which those you have to have completed pattern drafting and then the creative fashion class. And then the portfolio class, again, is your final class that you build. You kind of take the work you've completed during the program and you compile it into a portfolio. And then here are some images from our elective courses. So sustainable fashion, costume design, handbag design, millinery, entrepreneurship, digital tools. And then another thing I just want to mention is that we offer travel courses in our undergrad program that are directed through fashion design. And I teach a few of them, and I've always tried to leave a couple of spots open for our certificate students if they want to join a course. You can do it and pay for the trip, and then pay for the course and separately, and it can count for one of your electives as well. So, in this image here, there's a couple of students in our certificate program that are featured in like the trip that we took to Antwerp and Paris, but we've had students involved also on the right. This is an image of that's one of our certificate students right here in the right-hand image, who was in the certificate program, and this was in a travel course to Laos actually, where we worked with a social enterprise. We also have my colleague Renee Harding, who teaches in the undergrad as well as in the certificate, has run a trip to Ghana, and I've also run a trip to India on sustainable handcrafts, which have also included certificate students. So that's just another way that you can get a studio elective if you want. And those, again, it's an undergrad class, but because we offer these classes through fashion design and we're very closely aligned with our undergrad program. I'm the chair and a professor in our undergrad program of fashion design, and a lot of the faculty who teach in our certificate also teach in our undergrad program. So we try to link the programs as much as we can. And just a little bit about some of our alumni. People go in all different directions completing the certificate program, and that's what also makes the program a bit unique. We try to really help support each individual who comes into the program based on what your previous experiences, what your goals are. We try to help guide you in that way. To take the classes and build your portfolio in that direction. But some of our certificate alumni are in these different areas. So ready to wear, some have gone on to like Talbots or J. Jill, Converse, TJX, New Balance, Nordstrom, Puma. In bridal, one we have who's a designer at Essence of Australia, costume, Boston Ballet, the Conservatory. We have someone now who's just starting at the American Repertory Theater in Cambridge. Startups, we have some alum who have started their own businesses: Edna Cherry, Zainab Sumu, Claire Drennan, Queen Adeline, and Phyllis Carroll. And these are just some, I featured a couple of them. This is Queen's, some of her work in her business. And I put a link to her website too if you want to check out any of her work. She's sustainably focused as well in her business. And Zainab Sumo is doing a lot more actually fine art work with she does both fashion and textile design, and now she's also really kind of leaning more into fine art. And then the program costs. I'm going to hand this over to Joe, who will talk about this.
Hi everyone. Yeah, so the program cost it's not super expensive. We try to keep the cost down for people. The tuition and fees, roughly per class, you're looking at about $1,800. For that's for the three credit class. You pay for the classes as you go, so it's not one flat fee at the beginning of your program. You pay by semester. So if you take two classes per semester, that's kind of the standard for most students. That would be about obviously around, $3,600, maybe a little less, not including materials. So materials are variable, kind of up to you in a lot of cases, I think. With, what type of materials do you want to work with, high end, low end? Um, you know, that's up to you. I would say just on average, materials might be $100 per class. If Jen thinks that's wrong, feel free to say no. Um, so for financial aid, there is financial aid available. You would just need to reach out to the MassArt Office of Student Aid. You would need to take 6 credits to qualify. It's mostly student loans, but there might be other things available. You would just need to reach out to our financial aid office for their assessment, and you would obviously have to fill out financial aid applications. And you can do that anytime. If you're applying, you can do that when you begin your application. Once it's submitted, you can get the ball rolling if you want to do it sooner than later. Employer funding, that's up to your employer. Sometimes there is tuition reimbursement available. You would need to check with them and see if that's available. And another thing is that we allow is if you'd like to try a class out first, you can take 2 classes and apply them to the program before you've applied and been accepted. Um, and that sort of ties into the application, uh, which is coming up. So the next application deadline is April 15th. There's actually two coming up. April 15th is for the summer, and June 15th is for the fall. So if you're thinking of starting this summer, you would need to get your application in by April 15th. And if you're thinking about applying for the fall, you have until June 15th. In any case, the application right now is open and you could start your application. And if you decide that you want to submit it by April 15th, just do that. And if you want to wait until the 15th of June for the fall, you can do that as well. And time getting back to the 2 classes, what a lot of people do is they'll say, "Oh, I want to apply, but I want to, I don't want to formally commit right away, especially in this cycle where there's 2 application deadlines coming up." So you can uh, get your application going, and if you want to apply for the fall with the June 15th deadline, you can still register for a class in the summer just by going through our catalog online, just register and pay. I would recommend that if you're going to do that, the class to take is fashion illustration. It's a core class that's only offered in the summer, and if you don't do it this summer, you're going to have to do it next summer. Um, so materials in the application are kind of as they appear on the screen. Statement of purpose. Why do you want to be on the program? Short statement, 1 page. Resume is just a resume of what you've been doing. What jobs have you held, where you are now. Letters of recommendation, not um, things that are required, but we would like to see them. If you have them and you can get them, that would be great. And you need a high school transcript and a fashion collage, which is just a collage of images intended to show your area of interest in the world of fashion. It's a very free form piece of artwork. Just show us who you are, show us what interests you, and that's the collage. And if you have questions about the application, my email is right there, and I'm going to link in the chat where to find the application online if you're interested. And I'll send it back to Jen.
Great. Thanks, Joe. Just one thing as well. I think if you've been to college too, you can just use your college transcript. You don't have to go back to your high school, right, Joe?
Yeah, it's an either or
Yep.
if you have both on hand, sure, give us both. But if you only have college, that's fine. If you only have high school, that's fine too.
Great. Yeah, and See if there's anything else on that. Just about some of the things that Joe mentioned in terms of the application. Yeah, for always questions always come up about like what is the collage? And Joe said it really well. It's just really don't like stress out about it so much. We don't require you to come in with like a certain set of drawing skills or something. We're not asking for a portfolio. It's really to kind of just see, what are your interests in fashion, your own kind of viewpoint, but then what interests you maybe in throughout fashion history or particular designers? Do you have an aesthetic or things that you're drawn to? That's kind of compiling imagery for that. Um, and then the other piece about the application is the statement of purpose. That's really the most important piece is just why do you want to be in the program? Why do you feel like this is a good next step for you? We're really interested in learning that about you as well. Um, and I think I'm going to stop this here and then we can look at what you have for questions.